Good morning, everyone. I am semi-retired Bob. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. If this is your first time here at the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. You may be asking yourself, what in the world am I watching here, Bob? Well, basically you're just watching me walk. I know that doesn't seem super exciting, but the fact that I couldn't do this just 8.5 months ago is what keeps me going. 8.5 months ago, when I started the carnivore diet, I could barely stand for 2 to 2.5 minutes at a time without severe pain. Now I'm out here walking every day. I think that's pretty exciting. For those of you returning to the channel, welcome. I'm also glad you're here. As we talked about, this is actually Thursday, but because I do a live stream on Friday, you'll actually see this video on Saturday. So it was a couple of days ago I broke, from your perspective, a couple days ago that I broke the 3,000 subscriber mark. Thank you so very much. I actually, I've been going up a little bit and down a little bit and up a little bit and down a little bit, and this morning I was at 3,027. So I didn't lose any ground overnight. I actually picked up some more, which is pretty amazing. I know I had said in the video you saw that came out, that's going to come out this afternoon on Thursday. I know I said I was going to try and get out to the trail today, but I thought about it. My shoulder feels 95% healed, but there's still some little twinges in there, and I thought, there's no point in pushing it. I can talk to you just the same out here in the parking lot in the field behind the church as I can out on the trail. You just have to put up with a little less exciting scenery. But I think what I'm going to do today is push just to see what I can do on flat ground today. I think I'm going to get the bob cam out later and record some laps there. And we'll just see where the day takes me. It's just a little after 11 in the morning here. It's not very warm. It's only about 50, but as you can tell, I have finally adjusted a little bit. And I just have my black windbreaking jacket on now instead of my heavier blue coat. We'll see. The sun is at least nice and bright today, which makes the big difference. Because this is the channel of full disclosure, I got to tell you, I was in pain yesterday, and still this morning when I got up. It has rained so much down here this year. Well, I showed you, we had that 28-hour soaking just a few days ago, and now it has done the same thing. Yesterday it started, I knew it was supposed to rain a little bit, starting about 1 o'clock, which is why I recorded yesterday's video so early in the morning, because I wanted to get it done before it started to rain. It must be humidity, the dampness, that's really causing some pain for me, because my arthritis and spinal stenosis have gotten a lot better. I mean, 90 to 95% better on the carnivore diet over the last 8 months. But yesterday and first thing this morning was not as bad as it used to be. but it was pretty bad. I did not take any of my pain pills, though. I probably could have, because it's been several weeks since I've taken any. And I'd rather not take them if I don't absolutely need them. Because I think part of taking a pain pill that strong, whether you realize it or not, no matter how careful you are, you do develop a little bit of an addiction to that kind of stuff. And if I need pain pills to feel good enough to walk every day, I'm doing something wrong. So I got up this morning, did some stretches in my trailer, and then went into the teen center and used the chairs in there to do some more stretches. And now I'm hoping this walking will finish loosening up my joints. The one thing I don't like about this black jacket over top of the blue one is you probably hear that little swishy noise in the background. That's the nylon of the jacket rubbing against itself, making that little swishy noise. And I got a new phone case. Hopefully my phone holds in this thing okay, because it's got a little kickstand thing on the back of it. I bought it because it was my other one was cracked and it was letting dust inside, so I had to open up the case and wipe everything down about every couple of days just to give you guys a decent picture. So I ordered the cheapest listed as waterproof case. And it's a little thicker than my old case, so I had to figure out how to get it into. I have a little mini tripod that I use in the trailer when I watch TV at night, and then I had to do a little finagling left and right on my selfie stick to make it fit, because this case is a little thicker with that kickstand and magnet on the back. So if the phone suddenly drops out, if you see the picture take a tumble, that's what's happened. But it looks like it's holding in there pretty good. So we'll see if I can get everything loosened up and keep going. I got a roast out thawing that I'm going to make tonight. That last roast you saw was a smaller roast. It was right at 2 pounds. The one I got out of the freezer today is about 2.3 pounds, so it'll be a few extra bites of roast tonight. I plan on being hungry, which is why I got that out to thaw, because I'm planning on basically starting now at 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm just going to keep walking until I can't walk anymore. Of course, I'm going to take some breaks, because I still think that's what caused my fall out on the trail, is that I was getting tired to the point that I wasn't picking my feet up quite enough, which caused me to trip over a root and then fail to catch myself and tumble down the hill. And I noticed that as I start to get more tired and I don't take breaks, that I don't feel quite as stable even while walking on the parking lot. Especially the spot I'm on here, it doesn't seem like a huge downhill, but I don't know if you can see behind me. The parking lot starts with out by the road and kind of slants all the way down into that drainage area that I showed you the other day that was full of water. And the drainage area is full of water again. Because once again, it rained so hard, there's no place for the water to go. It can't soak in because that ground's already saturated. The little swampy area out behind. That's really a nice view out through there, though. Let me turn around and give that to you here for just a minute. I know it just looks like junk woods, but I find that kind of wildness. Oh, big bird. I don't know if you can hear that or not. We'll see when I edit it. But I mean, I like the way they built this big deep thing so that the parking lot does drain, and we would have to get probably another half a foot of rain for the parking lot not to drain. But yeah, the humidity's really made me sore, and it's supposed to rain 2 or 3 days next week, so we'll see what happens. I am not happy with all this rain. But that's enough whining and crying about the rain. It's over now for a few days. So, you know, normally I take a break on Friday and don't record a video because I record today and get one day ahead. But because there's more rain coming, I think I'm going to keep pushing forward and making videos that you'll be seeing on a 2-day delay until I get rained out one day later next week. Because I got the waterproof case for my phone, figuring that would help keep dust out. But since it's also supposedly waterproof down to, I don't know, 100 feet or something, except for raindrops hitting the outside of it and landing right on the camera, I may actually try and record just a little bit out in the rain. I did that once before. Maybe I'll go out in the driving rain and try and record one lap in it. I don't know, that's in the future still. We'll see what happens. So it is now, let's see here, today's I think the 26th. It'll be like the 28th when you guys see this. So I hope your January personal challenges have gone well. For those of us that fell off the wagon over the holidays, I hope you're back on track and at least back to where you were before Thanksgiving. That's a good thing to leave me in the comments. Let me know if you're at least back to where you were before the holidays or have made more progress since then. Air Force bases, fun stuff. One day I'm going to be fast enough to catch one of those that's flying low enough to see. I'll catch it on camera for you. But right now they're up high enough that I can't even spot them. But after all the crappy weather we've had, it sure does feel nice to get out here and walk. I know today's just going to be kind of a mixed bag of whatever random thoughts pop into my head. I didn't come up with a huge plan for today. other than walking. Walking was my plan. And I definitely want to see how far I can get without the trekking poles. And then maybe tomorrow before the live stream, I'll see what I can do with the trekking poles. We'll see. Other than my joints hurting like heck, I feel pretty good. I may not be able to do much walking tomorrow because I've got to go into town and get some laundry done. I just have, I won't say no choice because I still have some clean clothes, but I don't like to get so low that, I end up on my last pair of socks and underwear before I go do laundry. That would be bad. Because then, if something goes wrong tomorrow and I don't quite feel like going in to do laundry, I can survive another couple of days. And then go in on Monday morning. But I'm going to set my alarm for 5:30 in the morning because the laundromat opens at 6 a.m. And if you get there right when they open at 6, you can have your stuff out of the washers and in the dryers before the crowds really start to show up. Now, I've never found it so crowded that I couldn't find the equipment I needed to find, because it's a pretty big place. But I like being in there by myself or with just one or two other people that early in the morning. It makes things go a little smoother, a little easier. I did do another interview. Supposed to come out, I think, next Thursday. I'll list it when it's going to come out. I sat down and talked with just Jason Keto for about an hour, and that was kind of fun. I always like talking to new people. And I may not actually get to where I'm interviewing other people on my channel until I get home, because my desk is not coming together in the trailer as quickly as I thought it would, because of course Pastor Jorge is very busy all the time, and now everybody's out. The last person, Brother Brandon, I said hello and goodbye to him just before I turned on the camera to start walking. Brother Brandon's the outreach minister here. But the only ones left here at the church for the next few days are the nursery workers. And they're going to be short-staffed because a couple of the nursery workers are gone to the couples retreat, marriage retreat, I think is what they're calling it. And I know one of their best workers, I guess she's still there. She must have the other kids with her. But she's a really nice lady. But you've heard me talk about her, Miss Jessica, the church secretary, and then Miss Ashley, the gal who heard me singing and told me I needed to join the choir. They are sisters, and Miss Nancy's their mom. So she's on child watch duty while those two go off to the couples retreat with their spouses, of course. So she's got extra duty this week. Besides working in the nursery. I didn't see her car. She must have been parked around behind somebody where I didn't see it because she's got a little teeny car. I know, that's not real exciting to you guys, sorry. But that's just, I like to keep you up to date with what's going on around here. I did have a cup of coffee this morning. I know I said I wasn't going to have any coffee for January, but I just felt like with as much pain as I was in, I needed a little coffee to help jumpstart my morning so I get some stretches in. And it worked. But yeah, as I started to say, I hope you're all doing well. Doing much better than I've done for January. I am still down for January. My weight is definitely down. Maybe I'll try and take a new selfie for a new thumbnail. But you remember the thumbnail I did 2 or 3 thumbnails ago with me in my nice new church clothes. Well, the pants were 42 and the shirt fit me, but it was really tight to get buttoned at the neck. And you know, when you got a shirt that's just a hair too small for you, you get those little gaps between the buttons. Those didn't show up because I, of course, put a tie on, the only tie I own. Well, the new go to church clothes I have, the pants are size 38. So I've dropped 4 inches in pant size since I ordered the first pants. I don't even remember when that was. About 2.5 months ago. And the shirt, I ordered the same size shirt, and it fits me a little bit loose now. I mean, it's easy, very easy to button the collar, and there's enough of a gap I can get my finger down in there. And then not only are all the little gaps between the buttons gone, but I can pull the shirt out away from my body about 1 inch. So everything's still going down, and my clothes are getting smaller and smaller. And that's why I'm still not ready to buy a bunch of new clothes. I'm just kind of making do, like this shirt. I don't even remember which one I put on. Oh, my tank shirt. It's a little on the big side. This is one of the older ones that I bought right after my heart surgery when I'd lost 20 pounds or so. So it's just a 1X instead of some of the really big ones are 2X and 3X. And then when I order some more shirts from this company, which some of you have asked, these t-shirts come from The Mountain. Their everyday price is somewhere between $25 and $30 a t-shirt, and that may seem expensive, but they're super high quality. A couple of the shirts, well, the one that I like the best, the one that I had on yesterday or the day before, has that saying on it that says, if you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. That's one of my favorite shirts. And the colors, while they are starting to fade a little bit, it's not as brilliant and bright as it was when I first got it. But then when you realize that I've probably washed that t-shirt somewhere between 150 and 200 times. Maybe only 100. But I've worn it every day, every laundry cycle for, I don't know, I want to say it's 4 years old. So they last a good long time. They don't last forever, because I've got a couple of shirts that I threw away before I came down here because I'd had them for 6 or 7, maybe even 8 years. And I wore them while I was driving a truck, and the collar would come away from the actual shirt because of where the seat belt from in my truck came down and rubbed on them. And you know, with those comfortable air ride seats in the trucks, you don't really notice how much you're bouncing. But then you start to see the wear on your shirts from the seat belt abrading against the material of your shirt. Totally not sponsored, by the way. Although if somebody from the mountain wants to give me a call, I'm always happy to wear a shirt that they send me, and I'd even talk about it for a moment or two. Trash is kind of piling up in my trailer. I got a couple of trash bags that I need to empty, hopefully, because the dumpster's overstuffed. There's no place to put things anymore, because the trash guy didn't come last Friday for whatever reason. So now hopefully he gets here this week, tomorrow. And the real test will be him getting here 2 weeks in a row. Because I know most of the trash cans in the teen center and the church are getting pretty full. And the old retired Army gal that cleans the place said she was gonna, and she normally comes in on Monday and Thursday so that she's here the day after services. But she said because there's no place to put anything in the dumpster, she's gonna come in tomorrow and work on cleaning everything. So hopefully the trash guy comes, because I've got, like I said, a couple of trash bags and some packaging. I got the new phone case in yesterday and a new razor. I'm not super happy with the razor. Maybe I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and buy an expensive one, because this one was only like 25 bucks, some cheap piece of crap made in China. But it looked okay in the pictures. And it cuts okay if I want to stand there and grind on my face for a couple minutes a spot. I'd really like to find a razor, all you guys out there that use electric razors. I'd really like to find one that really cuts the skin down to almost smooth in one pass, and a couple, 3 passes will make it smooth. So if anybody has any suggestions, I'm not going to buy another razor till I get my February paycheck. But this is a nice little run of months here, January, February, March. Because with the first being on a Wednesday, I get my retirement check on the second Wednesday of the month. So February and March, both because the first is on Wednesday, I get it the earliest I can possibly get it. And then of course the run from March to April, it's a 5-week gap in there. So I got to be careful how much I spend to make sure that it lasts 5 weeks instead of 4. So there's been a big elephant in the room out on the internet this morning that I do want to talk about for just a half second. A big article out there that's claiming that eating eggs is causing sudden blood clots. When you're looking at new so-called studies that are out there, the very first thing you need to do before you even look at the summary is go all the way to the end of it and look for conflicts of interest. Because if it's a study making some claim about a drug, but the study was paid for by the drug companies, you can bet which way that study's going to read. Or if there's a study talking about a certain kind of food, if it's a study showing meat is bad, but it was funded by big food or vegan groups, you can bet which way that study is going to read. And the opposite is true. If there's a study out there or summary paper that's saying that the vegan diet is bad, yet it's paid for, and I don't even know if this is even a group, I'll just say, if that study was paid for by the Cattlemen's Association of the world, it's a good bet that study is going to be slanted. So you really have to look at what what the conflicts of interest are. Who's doing the study and what are they looking at? And then you need to dig into it and see, how many participants and how long was it? And did they control for confounding parameters? Which means, let's say I want to do a study on walking every day, but I don't separate the group out into what their diet is or if they smoke or not. Those are all confounding factors, confounding variables, that if you're not trying to control those as best you can, your study's going to be worthless. And to call something with 10 people for 1 week a study is, in my mind, scientifically criminal. It's not actually, and that's how they get away with a lot of this stuff. They do. If you have a really short study with a low number of people, you can pretty much play with the results however you want. I think I've told you this story before. But one of the things that my brother has in his bag of degrees, I don't remember if he's got I know his PhD is in economics games theory, but he's got a mathematics and statistics degrees of varying levels, and he does statistical work. That's actually what he's doing on his current job. But this has been 10 years ago now. He was curious because the two biggest power football conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC, their fans are forever arguing which conference is best. And I know all my SEC fans in the crowd are going to come jumping right in and say, well, obviously the SEC is better. And all my Big Ten fans are going to come jumping in and saying, obviously the Big Ten is better. Well, he looked at every season he could find records for and did the comparing and contrasting, who they played, what the margins of victories were, all the stat stuff. I'm not a statistician. I don't know how all that stuff works. But he broke it all down, and then his conclusion as a statistician and mathematician, taking every season he could find. Like I said, this is about 10 years ago, so this may not be current information. But he said, which conference is better can be proven with the statistics I've compiled, depending on which conference is going to pay me for this study. So that tells us all we need to know. So you really have to look for what's called user bias when looking at studies. So now after you've dug into the conflicts of interest and how many people they had, how did they control for confounding variables, how long the study was, all that kind of stuff. Now if you've decided, okay, there's enough solid pieces of information here, now you can dig in to reading the study. But you can't just read the conclusion. You have to read and analyze the whole thing. Now what that actually means, I don't know. I'm not real good at reading studies. I do try it on occasion, and I'm usually left a little more confused than when I started. But occasionally I find some good pieces of information. But what I do is I will forward, if I find something that looks halfway reasonable, I forward it on to Dr. Barry and say, can you take a look at this? And 99% of the time I'll get a message back that says, I've already looked at that trash, and this is why. Every once in a while, enough people, when a new article comes out like this egg thing this morning, there will be enough people asking him about it that I would suspect sometime in the next week or two, we'll see a video about that on his channel. Just like he just put out a video about gas stoves and asthma. That's actually pretty good if you haven't gotten to see that yet. Where are we at here? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, folks. I've been rambling on about nothing for almost 40 minutes. I hate to make this such a long video, but now I'm going to keep walking. But I'm going to shut up, do one lap with this, and then I'm going to grab the bob cam and do some more laps and just see how far we can get without the trekking poles today. But for now, let's cue the music. Well, here I am back again. Sorry that video has gone on for a really long time, but I just had some stuff I wanted to do today, and I, of course, rambled on at the mouth for a really long time before I even started recording my laps. You may have noticed I put a clarification note back in the section of the video. I don't actually send stuff directly to Dr. Barry. I post it in his mighty networks, and there's a lot of smart people in there, so his moderators will most generally answer those things. Very rarely does Dr. Barry feel the urge to chime in on those because his moderators are so smart, they do such a good job. Most of them have already read all the stuff. So that's what I should have said. I shouldn't have just said I send it to Dr. Barry, because that might give you the wrong idea. I don't actually send it to Dr. Barry. I post it in his mighty networks. But that's that clarification. I think I got all those walking sections in order. I may have messed one of them up, but you saw me bend over and pick something up out there. I don't know whose they are, but there was a set of keys laying between the sidewalk and the building out there on the in front of the new building. So I've got them sitting in here on the counter now. That's what you saw me bend over and pick up. But I'm trying something different with my roast today. And you've hung around this long, you might as well hang around for another just a couple of minutes. I'll throw in a little clip of it at the end when it's done, but because it didn't get thawed out the last couple of times, I did put a frozen roast in the oven. I've been doing them for about an hour and 20 minutes at 350. I've got this one in, it's all covered up, and I put it in a 300 degree oven. I'm gonna let it run for about 2 hours. And then I'll unwrap it and sear it on all sides with the broiler. I don't know if that's the better way to do it or not. I just decided I wanted to try something different just to see what happens. And instead of just covering it with tin foil, I salted it on both sides and then wrapped it all the way up in tin foil. So I will let you know how that comes out at the end there. And since the sun's still out, while this bakes in the oven for a couple of hours, I'm going to go back out and walk a few more laps. And somewhere right in here, I will put the total of what I ended up walking today in there for you, so you know exactly what I did. But that's all I've got for you today. Stick around to the very end, because I'll show you a couple of quick pictures of the roast, both uncut and cut, just to show you how it came out. Unless I completely burned it to a crisp, and then I won't show you that. But that's where we're at, folks. Don't forget to get out there, be 1% better. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Oh yeah. This came out looking really good. Now let's give it a quick cut and see how we did. It may end up being a little bit too overdone. I don't know. I'm going to give it a cut right down the middle here and take a look at it. Oh no, that came out okay. Yes, yes indeed. Now let me just give it a little taste here. Oh man. Cooking it at 300 for 2 hours instead of 350 in an hour and 20 minutes has made it even better than it was before. This is going to be awesome. Time for me to sit down and eat. You guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.